Need to close the door, so just somebody comes in, makes a bit less noise. So as we come to any seated posture, have a look if you need any support to sit comfortably. Can also have a sense, you could even touch the bones of your pelvis. Have a sense of how you're sitting, if this is comfortable for you now. And I would like to start today with breathing, alternating nostrils, Nadishadana, Pranayama. Traditionally, this is done in Hatha Yoga with this mudra. So bringing down index finger and middle finger and having thumb in front of the ring finger and little finger. And this does kind of, helps to close one side of the nose and the other. But in fact, you could do this without any mudra, and you could just close one side of the nose and the other. Or maybe for any reason, maybe you have one side of the nose that is clogged for today and you don't want to close it, then you can just bring your intention into the two. We have the two nostrils correspond to the two hemispheres of the brain, and throughout the day and the night, one nostril is more active than the other, and they switch every certain amount of time. So this happens all the time. And here we're just doing this a bit more, guiding it. Eyes open or closed as you wish. See if you can have a sense now as you breathe from both nostrils. If you sense that one of them is more active than the other. If you sense, in a way, it's like feeling, I feel more air coming through this side than this other side. And sometimes it's really subtle and we cannot really sense a difference. If you find one that is more active, you can start from that one. Otherwise, I'm just going to start closing my right nostril and exhaling from the left. And then inhaling from the left, closing the left, opening the right, exhaling. Inhaling from the same, closing, opening, exhaling from the other. And we keep doing this, inhaling from the same, changing finger, and exhaling from the other. And we can allow the breath to remain full. So maybe it takes a longer time to take a full inhalation, or a longer time to exhale fully. And you can observe if you have a sense, if the inhalation or exhalation, if one of the two is longer or easier. And we try to bring them more or less to the same duration. So if we inhale 1, 2, 3, 4, then we're going to exhale 1, 2, 3, 4, or any count where your breath is going now. can also try to add one count to lengthen very slightly. We're going to take one more full round, and we end at the nostril where we started. When we have finished, we can release the hand, arm, breathe in with both nostrils. Observe if it feels any different. If the volume of air we're inhaling feels any different. And we can yawn. Or bring any movement to the body feels needed. We can stay in this exact same position or change position if you prefer. Exhaling, chin to chest. Inhaling, lifting up the gaze. And exhaling. Letting the movement start from your lungs. And gradually expanding into the torso. Exhaling, chin to chest and rounding the spine. Inhaling, lifting and opening the front. One last time. And then finding center here, sensing the weight distributed between left and right, both shoulders soft. We can also bring them up to the ears and exhaling, just drop them. Okay, we let our shoulders stay down. Inhaling, we lift up and open one side of the neck. So on this side, my shoulder remains low and the ear draws away from it. And exhaling, coming back. Same side, inhaling. And exhaling, center. And changing side. Always inhaling, head reaching up and then opening. And exhaling. We can open our hands, arms, so fingertips can touch the ground. I'm going to a wider movement from the torso, still inhaling, reaching up, and exhaling as we come back. Keeping both sitting bones on the ground, so the space expands between the hip and the rib cage. Exhaling when we come back. One last time on each side. And exhaling center. And see if we can connect these movements that we've done of opening right and left and opening front and back. We could let, again, the rib cage drive and maybe move to the front, move to one side, reach at the back. Yeah. And the hips are going to follow a bit. They're going to also move probably here. But sitting bones remain grounded. If you're going in one direction, we can also change and do into the opposite way. Oh. Okay, I'm reaching back over center. Let's interlace our fingers here. Palms facing up towards the ceiling and reaching up. See how we can reach up without the shoulders coming up. So shoulders stay soft, and observe how your pelvis and spine is oriented. So see if you can keep long arms, but without overarching. Lower back remains long here. And exhaling, releasing. Good. Let's come to sit in Vajrasana on our heels. Just give a short stretch to our feet. So you know which props you will need by now. Take any cushions, any blankets. And remember, some days it's more than enough even to sit here, and this is already a stretch. And if it is, then even moving in and out from this, the Vajrasana. If you want a stronger stretch, then make sure that feet are a bit wide. There's some space between them. They are straight. And you can shift the weight into one side, lifting the opposite knee, move a bit from side to side. Again, here we're aiming at the back of the foot. So yeah, we'll find any variation. Okay. And then from here, we're going to go into the opposite way. So tucking the toes under, even the little toes, and either sitting or higher, shoulders soft, arms long in front of us, and we take a couple of seconds to pull back each finger. And then the whole wrist up and down. Same with the other fingers. Okay. And releasing from here, hands, releasing the lower legs. Okay. Good. Let's take just another moment here to observe just a bit our neck. We're going to do the same in all fours, but I think from seated is a bit easier to observe how your neck can move forward, how your head, you can project your head forward, reaching back down. Okay, good. We're going to do the same in all fours, but here it's easy to find it turtleneck. I'm looking at my phone. Okay, we move to all fours. We have stretched our feet so that They can be a bit longer on the mat and they can take some of the weight. But if this is not comfortable, then tuck your toes under. What we want to do is to take some weight away from the knees. You can also take something softer, adjust. Knees are at least at hips distance, maybe wider. And feet are in line, hands under our shoulders or fists. Okay. And if you look down between your thumbs on the floor, we try to do the same with the neck, letting the head drop down like it's projecting forward, or reaching back with the back of the head reaching up towards the ceiling. Hands and arms, shoulders remain active, just playing a bit with this. And then reaching up with the intention to keep the neck long. Find a place where the neck feels long, but it's not overly tiring. Okay, good. And from here, exhaling, tailbone reaching down to chest, and inhaling, slightly arching. Can you even imagine the bony structure of your pelvis and how it moves here between these 2 points? We're going to move from here into the drawing circles on the long side of the mat. So we're inhaling, exhaling, rounding. Weight is moving towards feet. Remember, you can open your knees a bit wider if you want, or tuck the toes under. Forearms are going to come onto the mat. Inhaling, reaching forward and higher, and then rounding, exhaling, reaching back. And we keep drawing these circles on this line. We do 3 more. Exhaling. Okay. Reaching back to the center. You can adjust your knees and feet if you need. And actually, let's all, step forward. I start with my left foot, wide, so it's outside of my hand. And we can help with our arms to come up a little higher from here. Okay, good. The back foot can be long or tucked under as you feel, and this front foot is a bit farther away than the knees, quite far. Okay. Hands could be on the hips for now. We start activating this glute. For me, it's the right glute at the back, and then reaching forward. Make sure, of course, you have space. Yeah, you can take a blanket under this knee if you want a softer surface. We're stretching here the front of this right hip, the psoas. When you want to move back, just pressing down with this front foot. We activate the glute first so that the lower back is protected when we reach forward. And then again, pressing down. One last time. Okay, good. Chin back on this side. Let's leave this foot where it is. We turn to face the long side of the mat. So this leg remains open at the side and we twist a bit, in this direction. So more or less we have the arch of the foot in line with the knee here. And the foot is pointing more or less 45 degrees. So it's quite comfortable. Okay, see how the hips are oriented. See if we can have them more or less parallel to the ground, especially if one tends to be much higher. Okay, we're opening, for me it's the left leg open, left arm, same arm, and with the right inhaling, opening into the side and up. And we could exhale as we come back. Or if it feels nice to stay, you could also stay opening into the side and breathing. Tailbone pointing slightly more down, yeah. And the head could stay at the center, or we could look down at the floor or up at this upper hand. Okay, good. We come back and we're going to change side, change leg. I'm going to change side of the mat. If you were like me and you had your left foot forward, now I'm bringing my right forward. And it's quite a long step. Adjust if you need blanket under this knee. See if the back foot is better, feels better long or tight under. Okay, and same here to move forward, activating this left glute, and then really gradually, it's really controlled, moving forward. Make sure you have space, so this front foot is quite wide. And to come back, pressing down with the front foot. Okay. Activating from the glute before moving forward. So the stretch feels here, especially if the glute is active. And we move forward one last time. And come back. Okay. We do the same on the other side. So this leg remains a bit wide on this side, just the central leg. Arch of the foot more or less in line with the knee. It's an orientation. The foot can be about 45 degrees. For me now it's the right arm open and the left, the free one, inhaling up and into the side, tailbone. You can observe the lower back can be long. Maybe inhaling to move in and exhaling to move out. Or maybe staying into the side stretch. Remember, we're growing tall up towards the ceiling. And on this open side, we're extending this distance. Okay. And then we can come back. Finding our way back to all fours. So both knees, hands. Okay. And as we come here, see if you need any movement, maybe adjusting knees, feet, hands, maybe shifting the weight or taking any circle, 8 figure, any movement for the hips. Okay. Going to extend one foot from here. I'm still starting from my right foot, right heel reaching back, tail pointing towards my heel. Parikasana, finding your option for today. Maybe staying here, maybe left, opposite hand at the heart, maybe arm reaching forward, maybe lifting both leg and arm. Observe your neck. So have this sense again that the back of your head is reaching up towards the ceiling. Exhale, you can have both hands on the floor, the foot can come back, and you can take a moment here to sense again this length, head and heel pulling into opposite ways. You could also bend your knee, your elbows slightly, and feel the strength of your arms. Okay. And the right leg comes back and we repeat the same, extending back. Left heel, finding the same adjustment. Lower back is long, tail pointing down. And see how you want to, which variation you choose for this side. Maybe hand, opposite hand at the heart, maybe arm forward, maybe arm and leg up. Neck remains long, back of the neck reaching up. And whenever you want, both hands can come back, foot on the ground, maybe staying here just for a few breaths, observing this length, or maybe again, you can bend your elbows, having this sense of strength in your shoulders and pressing down with your hands, with your arms. Okay. And then we can all come back. Maybe let's take a few breaths. Big toes together, knees a bit wider. We come to rest into child's pose or any variation to give a bit of rest to wrists and shoulders. You could take one of the cushions or even have your hands, make a little tower to stay a bit higher, or even you could take the chair. Yeah, as long as it's as you feel fine. There's no reason to go upside down. It doesn't feel good. Even a version like this could be good. At home on the sofa, this feels really nice, actually. When we want to move from here, really gradually, you can walk back with hands towards the knee. Okay. If you need any movement into your shoulders, and we're prepared to move up to stand. As always, you can choose any transition. If you want to pass to the squat, then you can tuck toes under, move hands. And this is interesting about the squat, how it's different, what we just said about the pelvis, and here knees are really open, much more open than, yeah. So a pelvis with open knees is very different from, for example, bending and having not even the ropes that are common in Germany. It brings the pelvis into a very different position. Okay, we're just here for a transition to come to stand. Remember, if you want to stay with your torso upright, you could press into your thighs and reach back up, or you always have the option to let the torso soft and roll up. Okay, good. Send your feet onto the ground. You can lift your toes, spread them. Maybe let's start from shifting the weight, toes to heels. Inhaling as we come up and exhaling as we reach back on heels. You could keep moving the whole time, or at any moment where you feel stable, you could choose to stay on the tip of your toes. And if you stay, then shoulders down. And anytime you could restart, could come down and move again. And then we'll release and come down. Okay. Good. And I invite you again to bring your hands to this place where the belly meets the thighs. Here. Feet are parallel, hips distance, and here we shift all the weight into the outer edges and inner edges, big toes pressing down. And then we'll bring feet together, big toes in touch, hands on the kneecaps, and we draw circles with the knees. Pelvis is following. Head and neck in position that doesn't bring tension. And change in direction. Okay, I'm coming back. I'm just standing. Let's do one more for our shoulders, lifting arms parallel to the ground, finding your spot. Flexing wrists, so fingers are pointing up. You can have a look if your jaw feels soft. And then fingers pointing down to twist the body, even twisting back slightly. And soft hands, one shoulder rolls to the back and the other one to the front. And we change from side to side. Okay. One more time on each side, and then we're going to bring our hands in front of the face. Inhaling here, and exhaling, letting arms fall down, letting the neck also be soft. One more time, inhaling, and exhaling. Okay, good. Okay. Bring our feet a bit wider. I would say shoulders distance. It's a bit wider than usual. And we come bending our knees a bit, fingers either pointing outside or inside as you feel more stable, giving the weight really to your shoulders. So yeah, so they can come up a little bit. And see here the mobility of the pelvis that you find for yourself. So not going into full cat-cow movements, but if you could just move the lower part of your spine. It doesn't need to come with a breath, but imagine you could draw a line with your tailbone, up and down. Orienting, tilting the pelvis forward and tilting back. Okay. One last time, and then ending the tailbone down and then rolling to come to stand. So this one first. Let's move close to a place where we can have balance. So close to a wall, door, wardrobe, anything that you find. I'm going to start here with my left foot on the ground. Left hand is here, and I'm grabbing, it's like a runner stretch. I'm grabbing the right foot with my right arm, but I'm not pulling up. I'm letting the arm just hold the foot wherever it is. And bending the knee on the ground. Then what we just did, tailbone pointing down. Yeah, so this knee comes a bit forward, extending the knee on the floor. And with this upper knee, I'm pressing down like I want to touch the ground. Okay. So the stretch here feels to the front of the thigh, and maybe a little closer to the hip as well. If you want to move in again, if you lost the position, bending the knee, tail down, extending the knee, and then pressing down. And this upper arm is not pulling, it's just holding. Actually, it's being stretched here, my shoulder. Taking the side, we do the same. The other side. So for me now it's right foot on the ground, I'm grabbing the left, bending the knee on the floor, tailbone pointing down, extending the knee on the floor, and then reaching down with this upper knee. I want to touch the floor with the knee. And releasing from here, coming down, releasing the leg, come back to the mat, taking more movements that we need. You can have the chair close to you. I'd like to do the stretch. Like we can do either standing or seated. If we are in standing, we come with the weight all on one foot, cross the other leg over, and we're going to bend from here. One way. If we are in standing, then this foot is flexed, this knee is opening to the side, and we're bending the knee and bending from the hip. Maybe having the chair here for balance. You could do a similar stretch seated and just coming forward. Yeah, each body is a bit different, but finding this combination of how much you bend this knee and how much you bend from the hips. And you can play a bit with this. You can try different combinations. When it's time to release, coming back up. Take any movement to the legs if you need. And then we're going to give weight to the other foot until it's easy to lift. Foot flex, knee open to the side, bending the knee and bending from the hips. Okay. And reaching back up from here, releasing. Yeah. You can keep the stool somewhere close. We're going to use it again. First, today I'd like to rotate in this direction, and then we're going to triangle, opening to the sides. Okay. So with feet at hips distance, parallel, inhaling into one arm, reaching up. This upper arm is pulling me up, and then the other arm comes and is still pulling me really up. And then exhaling all the way back. This one comes and then this one. Okay. When we move forward, glutes activating, hips moving forward, then the chest comes a little higher, and the curve is really distributed from the lower back, upper back. Upper hand is pulling up to the ceiling, and lower hand goes down on the leg. Okay, and then we come back. Inhaling and exhaling as we come back. Exhaling. Just do one more time on each side. Exhaling. And releasing. Good. And come to open feet wider. You can have your stool or cushion in front of you. We're going to move down into a triangle. So again, it's nice to have the torso parallel to the ground. So hands usually, yeah, that's too far. So either hands on a cushion at this level or for arms on the stool or chair. Okay, so more or less feet at elbows distance. We're going to bend from the hips, and as we bend forward, we bring the pelvis backwards. So weight goes to the heels here. Okay. And then you can take any and see if you find a position and check. You can always check by trying to lift one side of the pelvis and then the other and see the mobility that you have. Yeah. It's going to be a bit different for each of us. It's body proportions. And also depending on how wide your legs are. It could be that for some of us, we need even a higher support on the chair. Yeah, okay. We're going to move from side to side, also with the torso and arms, but still starting from the pelvis. Inhaling, I'm starting with my right sitting bone, right side of the torso, arm up to the hand, and exhaling, coming back. Then exhaling, left sitting bone, and all the way up to the fingers, and exhaling. Do one last time on each side. And finish in the center. Okay. Bring your weight fully on your feet again. Bend your knees slightly, and you can unroll. Come to stance. Take any movement around the hips, bring your feet closer. We're going to transition back to the ground. So any transition that you would like, including the squat. Remember, it's easier if feet are wider apart and pointing outside, maybe hands, just as a transition. Come to sit, can let your legs be long for a moment. Even pointing one and stretching the other. Or drawing circles with the big toes into one direction and also into the other. Okay. And releasing. We can try the same stretching that we did in standing, also from this position. So maybe you see if this works any better for you. You could have one foot on the floor and the other leg crossed on top. And it's still the same. We have the foot flexed, we have the knee opening to the side, and we find a balance where the pelvis is, where the hands are, where the foot is. Just giving this as a taste. You could do this in this position, it's the same. Yeah. Yeah, it could be that here it could be harder, or it could be that you're very close to your legs as well. And when you want just changing side. If it feels nice, you can let your knees come down into one side and the other. Yeah. For some of us, it could feel nicer to do this with long legs and to have feet going in and out. Okay. Yeah. Good. And we make our way to the floor. We're going to lie on one side. If you want to have a cushion or blanket, anything to support your head, we're going into one side twist on one side, we change sides, and then we stay a bit longer into the second side. So if you want to bring closer blankets, extra cushions, you can pick them. Okay. Knees can be bent. You can also have a pillow between knees, between the feet. Make sure your neck feels really nice here. Also, you can have a look at the lower back and how the tailbone is oriented. If you need any adjustment in the position of the legs. Arms long in front of us. And we're going to inhale, lifting the upper arm, opening into side twist for the shoulders. And we can exhale and close. And we can keep moving. Maybe with each breath, the upper arm moves a little more. We could also choose to stay with this arm open if the stretch feels nice, or if the twist feels nice for the shoulders. And exhaling, we are going to close. Transitioning onto the other side. So maybe we're just rolling on the back, or maybe you want to come to sit and change side. A new position for the neck, for the lower back, for legs, arms long, and inhaling, opening the upper arm. And exhaling to close arms together. At any time, also remaining with arms open. Next time we exhale, we can bring arms together. We're going to stay for just a few minutes. See if you need to change position or to adjust in any way. I'm going to bring the lights a bit lower. Bless you. Into any position that you have chosen for yourself. Maybe you can imagine the bones of your pelvis, or even touch the structure of your pelvis. Having a sense of the position of your body, and also the presence inside these bones. All the soft and liquid parts of our body, and also the womb, supported by the bony structure of the pelvis. If we want, we can invite movement to come back to any part of the body, or also yawning. We're stretching into any direction. I would like to close with 3 today that we can always join or just listen to. Arms, hands in contact with any of the heights you wish. Inhaling, pulling into the belly and rib cage and chest, and exhaling fully. And inhaling to start. Another inhalation to open into the sides, reach up, and exhaling. Grazie.